Today is 16th January 2023 and we are starting a new chapter that is dynamics. And this chapter dynamics composed of different topics. And the main topic of this chapter is momentum and collision. So I am starting with momentum and collision, but as we will complete momentum and collision, then we will study more topics in this chapter. So let's start with momentum. What is momentum in IGCSE? We have studied momentum is denoted by P, and momentum is the product of mass and velocity. What is momentum? Actually, momentum and force are of same kind, same nature physical quantities. When you exert force on any moving object or stationary object, then this force converts into momentum. Consider initial velocity is u. When you apply force F, then mass remains same, but velocity changes to v. Mass remains same, but velocity changes to v in time interval of t. So in IGCSE, we study basic formula of force equal to ma, but its other formula is change of momentum divided by time. And you know that if you are dividing with time, then you can write sir force equal to rate of change of momentum. It is IGCSE definition. Sir force is rate of change of momentum. So you should memorize force in IGCSE. It is a product of mass and acceleration. If you write the formula of acceleration, that is v minus u upon t, and open the bracket, then it becomes mv as final momentum, mu as initial momentum, divided by time. It is called rate. Divided by time means rate. So force is rate of change of momentum. So first thing, momentum is the product of mass into velocity. Second thing, force is the rate of change of momentum. Okay, and if you just memorize these two basic formulas, then we can solve few questions from read and write book. Let's start past paper questions, and the questions will be very difficult calculation wise. So, this is AS physics, it is dynamics, and it is unit number 4. It is unit number 4. Okay, let's start the chapter. How about start with question number 2? Start with question number 2. What is question number 2? The question is state the principle of conservation of momentum. What is principle of conservation of momentum? So, but in IGCSE we study if two bodies are going to collide, consider its mass is m1, its velocity is u1, its mass is m2, its velocity is u2, and this is situation before collision. Consider it is fast and it is slow. So when fast moving body hits slow moving body, then it becomes slow and it becomes fast. So according to the law, the total momentum before collision always equal to total momentum after collision. And in IGCSE, it is law of conservation of momentum. So note down with a proper definition. Note down with a proper definition. In the absence of an external force. If no external force is acting, in the absence of an external force, the total momentum, the total momentum before and after collision remain same. Before and after collision remain same. And this statement is known as law of conservation of momentum. In the absence of an external force, total momentum before collision equals to total momentum after collision. I am not writing the equation because right now it is our not main topic, but according to the question, I have stated the principle of conservation of momentum. If no external force acting, then total momentum before and after collision will remain same. Okay, and now the question is here. And these kind of questions they repeatedly ask. Okay, so it is very important question. In this question, this is a propulsion system in which a toy car consists of a propeller, and this propeller is running by electric motor. Okay, so when electric motor runs, then this is electric motor, and when electric motor runs, then obviously these blades of propeller will begin to spin, and when they spin, they push air in backward direction. This is air. Okay, but this is air, and obviously by the blades of propeller a cylinder of air is formed. A cylinder of air is formed. This is a cylinder, and this cylinder of air is formed when blades of propeller are running. Then a cylinder of air is formed. Okay, and what is the question? So the question is better note down the data. The question is, as the car is on horizontal ground, it is initially addressed. Okay, it is initially addressed when motor is switched on, propeller rotates, so air is propelled. The density of air is 1.3 exponent minus 3. The main thing is the density of air. We are given density. We are given density, and we have to calculate mass of air. It means this is a question of density and mass. Okay, we are given density of air and we have to calculate mass of air. Beta, what is the relation between density and mass? You know that mass per unit volume equal to density, and density is denoted by this symbol. This is a symbol of density. Okay, we have to calculate mass, so mass equal to density into volume. Mass equal to density into volume. Beta, Afra, this is a cylinder. This is air cylinder. In mathematics, how do you calculate volume of cylinder? Beta Afra, how do you calculate volume of cylinder? Uh, Pi r square h, yes, pi r square h, pi r square L. I am writing L because I am taking this distance as length of cylinder. So you can write L, you can write H. You are right. Okay, you are right. So mass equal to density, density given, and volume equal to pi r square L. After note down the formula. After note down the formula, we have to calculate mass of air. And to calculate mass of air, Equation is mass equals to density into volume, and volume of cylinder equals to pi r square L. Okay, and now I am substituting the values. What is density? So the value of density is 1.3, pi 3.142. Radius, sir, radius of propeller given. Okay, but this is propeller blade, and the blade, the radius of propeller means radius of blade, size of blade. So size of blade is acting as a radius. So radius is 0.045. Radius is 0.045. It is pi r square. Then I require L. Sir, what is L? Sir, L is this length. And this length equals to, actually what air is blowing. When air is blowing, then it is given that air is moving, air is moving with speed 1.8 meter per second. So it is the speed, as well as we are given time. Time is 2 seconds. So you know that if the speed is constant, for constant speed, distance equals to velocity into time. Distance equals to velocity into time, and you can see this distance becomes length of cylinder. This distance becomes length of cylinder, and length of cylinder equals to speed. Speed is 1.8. Speed is 1.8 into time. So time is 2 seconds. So distance is speed into time. Distance equals to speed into time. Speed is 1.8, time is 2 seconds. So if you solve this calculation, then the mass of air will be 0.030 kg. Mass of air will be 0.030 kg. So mass of air, actually product of density into volume, density given, volume is calculated by volume of cylinder, that is pi r square L, and then you can calculate the mass of air. After have you noted? Jivda, have you noted? बट अंजुम, आपने तो माशाल्लाह काइनेमेटिक्स पहले से पढ़ ली थी, स्कूल वाली काइनेमेटिक्स, तो आपको और अच्छी समझ में आ गई होगी, है बेटा अंजुम? क्वेश्चन तो होते ही हार्ड है, लेकिन हमने भी तो आपको इतने सारे क्वेश्चन करवाए हुए, और जो हम रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहे होते हैं नंदनी के लिए, तो आपकी अगर बात होती है नंदनी से, वो देखती है रिकॉर्डिंग, या हम बिला वजह उनके लिए रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहे हैं? अफरा उनकी क्लास में? हाँ बेटा अफरा, डू यू आस्क नंदनी के डज शी वॉच अवर वीडियोस और नॉट? ओके, बट यू शुड आस्क. Okay, you should ask, and I will ask you tomorrow. Okay, because okay. Okay, but now we are solving the next part of the question, and the next part of the question is calculate momentum, increase in momentum, change in momentum. You know that momentum is the product of mass into velocity. Mass, we have calculated mass. Sir, mass is 0.030, and velocity. So actually the velocity is constant in this topic. Velocity is constant. Actually mass, actually propeller, actually propeller driving mass of air. Mass, mass not remain uh, stationary in front of blade. Actually blade of propeller throwing air. So the mass of air is changing. Mass of air moving, mass of air changing. It is 0.030 kg mass of air is thrown out, and speed is 1.8. So if you multiply speed, that is constant, 1.8, and this speed is multiplied with 0.030, so the answer becomes 0.018 3 54. So it will be the chain of momentum. Speed remains constant, mass is thrown out, so mass 0.030 mass constantly thrown out by propeller. And now they are asking force. So, but as I stated, sir, force is the rate of change of momentum. Force is the rate of change of momentum. So time, sir, time is given 2 seconds. In the first line, the time is 2 seconds. We have calculated change of momentum, and the change of momentum is 0.054. 0.054. So if you divide these two numbers, then the force will be 0.027 Newton. It is the force. And now they are asking how Newton third law of motion is acting when right now the toy car is stopped by brakes, and as you release brake, then obviously the car moves forward, and when the car moves forward, then the question is how Newton third law of motion is applying. Actually, right now the car is at rest by brakes, but as brakes are released, then the car moves forward. Sir, why car moves forward? So the answer is, sir, when propeller throws air backward, it is action, and in reaction, the air pushes this toy car in forward direction. Due to the force exerted by air, the toy car moves forward. So I'm writing propeller, propeller throws air in backward, it is action. Air exerts a forward force on toy car, that is reaction. So action reaction are equal and opposite in direction. So propeller throws air in backward, it is action. Air exerts a forward equal force. I should write especially equal. So equal force on toy car. So air is thrown backward, action, and air pushing car forward, it is reaction. And now the next part of the question is the total mass of the car is 0.20 kg. When the brakes are released, car begins to move forward with acceleration. Okay. Question, determine initial frictional force. Okay. So there are two forces acting. Number one, driving force. This driving force coming from propeller. And this driving force is opposed by force of friction. You know that force of friction always opposes motion. So the driving force from the propeller acting forward, friction acting backward, and their difference equals to MA. It is the resultant force. You know that if two forces are acting in the same direction, then forces are added. If the two forces are acting in opposite direction, they are subtracted. So in this question, driving force acting forward and force of friction acting backward, so their difference equals to ma. What is driving force? A driving force is here. It is 0.027 minus friction force. Usually I write small f for friction equals to ma. M is the mass of car. Sir, mass of car is 0.20 kg. Acceleration of car 0.075. So if you make force of friction as a subject, then you will find force of friction, it will be 0.012. Calculation is not difficult, but the main thing, there are two forces acting on the toy car. Driving force coming from propeller, it is acting forward. Friction between tire and road, it is backward force. Opposite in direction, so they are subtracted, and it is equal to net force, that is ma. M is the mass of car, acceleration is given, so you can calculate the force of friction and it will be 0.012 Newton. हाँ बेटा, question part 3. Okay, okay. अच्छा बेटा, when the propeller, consider it is toy car, and on this toy car, this is, for example, fan or propeller. When propeller is working, it is throwing air backward. Okay, propeller is throwing air backward. So propeller exerting a force, propeller, propeller exerting a force on air, and this air is acting in backward direction. Okay, propeller, blade of propeller throwing air. So this force is acting on air. Force exerted by propeller, and it is on air. It is in backward direction. So it is action force. Then what will be the reaction? So reaction is air will push the propeller, and propeller is fit on the top of the car. So air actually pushing propeller, but the car is moving in forward direction. So two forces, backward force, sir, force on air, it is backward force. And the air is exerting a force on propeller, and propeller is fit on toy car. So the force of air is acting on car in forward direction. So it is action reaction force, and it is in opposite direction. So I am writing minus. And according to third law of motion, this is third law of motion. And I do not know you have studied third law of motion in IGCSE or not, because according to Newton third law of motion, to every action there is an equal and opposite direction reaction. So in this case, the propeller is running and propeller is pushing air in backward direction. Actually, it is action. So air is giving reaction force on the car. So car begin to move in forward direction. So it is action reaction, Newton third law of motion. Beta, is it clear or not, beta? Okay. The propeller is throwing air. It is action, and air is giving reaction. Thus that toy car begin to move in forward direction. So this is question number one. In the same kind question, I should give this question as a homework. It is here. Question number four. Question number four. I should give you this question as a homework, but I am explaining you. The first thing they are asking is state Newton's second law of motion. Whenever they ask state second law of motion, then you should write the relation between force and momentum. What is the relation between force and momentum? The rate of change of momentum is force. The rate of change of momentum is force. So it is the relation between force and momentum. Force is the rate of change of momentum. Okay, beta? It is also known as definition of force as well as it is Newton's second law of motion. And now there is a toy rocket. In the last question it was toy car. Right now it is a toy rocket. And in this toy rocket, air is compressed. Here is air. And this air is exerting pressure. This air is exerting pressure on this water. Okay, but this air, which is compressed air, and this is exerting pressure on water. We are given density of water. We are given density of water. Okay, and when this water is eject out from this nozzle, then if I draw this portion on large scale, I am drawing this is the nozzle, this is nozzle, and when water is ejected out from the nozzle, then you know that water is a liquid and liquid takes the shape of nozzle. So this kind of cylinder, it is water cylinder. It is water cylinder. And this water cylinder is ejected out from the nozzle. This water cylinder, this water cylinder is ejected out from the nozzle. And when this water cylinder is ejected out from the nozzle, they are asking calculate the mass of water that leaving the nozzle. They are asking mass. And we are given density as well. We are given density. So I am writing again density equals to mass per unit volume, or mass is the product of density into volume. Volume will again be volume of cylinder, and volume of cylinder will be pi r square L, and this L will be equal to velocity into time. Actually it is length of cylinder, it is the distance covered by liquid, so it is length of cylinder. What is density? So density is 1000, pi 3.142. Radius, so radius of nozzle 7.5 millimeter. So I'm writing exponent minus 3 with the square. Velocity, so velocity of water is 13. Time, so time is 0.20. And when you solve this calculation, then mass of water will be 0.46 kg. Mass will be 0.46 kg. Okay. अच्छा बेटा note down. I am coming in 1 minute. But I am coming in 1 minute. Note down this calculation. अच्छा बेटा sorry for the interruption. हाँ बेटा. Yes, the volume only for nozzle, because the water is released from the nozzle. So the water will take the shape of nozzle, and nozzle shape is cylindrical. So when the water is ejected out from the nozzle, it will take the shape of nozzle and it is a cylinder. So the volume of cylinder will be pi r square L, and this L is the length, and length is equals to velocity into time. This length is equals to velocity into time. Have you noted? And then the remaining part is just like same question number 2 type na. Then they are asking change of momentum, then they are asking force, again they are asking Newton third law of motion, again they are asking the same kind question. If you have solved the first one, you can easily solve this question. Okay, so I am leaving this question number 4 as a homework, and you should solve for the practice. Okay, and now we are moving to the next question, that is question number 5. Okay, beta. This is question number 5. In this question number 5, the question is, and it is just like kinematics question. It is just like a kinematics question. And kinematics question is, a child is sitting on a sledge and her total mass is 70 kg. And the child is moving from the top, and as she slides down, its velocity is increasing. And at point A, her velocity is 18 meter per second, and our question starts from position A. So the backward scene is not is not important for us. Our question starts from position A. Okay. So if I ask you 18 meter per second, sir, it is initial velocity. It is initial velocity. And as the child is moving towards B, her velocity is decreasing. And when she reaches point B, then her final velocity becomes 0. Okay. Initial velocity is 18. Initial velocity is 18 and final velocity becomes 0. Okay. So the question is, initial velocity is 18. Abdullah, इधर देखो. अच्छा बेटा, initial velocity is 18. उसको खोलिए, कबर्ड को, नीचे वाली कबर्ड को खोलिए. टोपी क्यों दी मैंने आपको? Initial velocity 18, and as the child is moving towards B, she is decelerating, and final velocity will be 0. So this is the final velocity will be 0. In 12 seconds, and the first part of the question is state the time taken for the sledge to travel from A to B. Then obviously this is position A, this is position B. At position A, velocity is 18. At position B, velocity is 0. So velocity will be 0 at the 12th second of its motion. At the 12th second of its motion, final velocity becomes 0. Final velocity becomes 0 at the end of 12 seconds. So initial velocity is 18, final velocity is 0, and time is 12. Okay. And now they are asking determine displacement of sledge from position A to 24 seconds. What is the meaning of 24 seconds? Actually, the sledge with child, first the student or child will move from A to B, then return to towards A, returning towards A. Okay. If you read the question is at point A, speed is 18, time is 0. Then she moves towards B. At B, she will come to rest. The child applies a brake to sledge at point B. Okay. The brake does not keep the sledge stationary, and it immediately slides backward the slope towards A. Okay. Actually, the child is moving back towards position A. Okay. And this is the graph. They are asking calculate displacement, calculate displacement of 24 seconds. They are asking to calculate displacement of 24 seconds. Okay. So first I will calculate the displacement of first 12 seconds. And this first 12-second displacement can be calculated by using area of triangle. And I'm calling this distance as d1. So I'm calculating d1. So d1 equals to half base 12 second and height is 18. So 2 on the 2, 2 6 are 12, and 18 6 are 108. So 108 meter, the child will move from A to B. And at position B, she is sliding backward. And when she is sliding backward, then she is coming this distance. Okay. And now we are going to calculate this area. And this area I'm calling this distance as d2. So again half base. So base of the triangle between 12 and 24. So base of the triangle is 12 second. And what is the speed? What is the speed? Can you read the speed? Sir, speed will be at 24 second. It will be, I'm trying to read. It will be 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it is 6. I think it is 6. It is 10. It is 10. So I think it will be 9, 8, 7, 6. Yes, it is 6. So simplify. 2 on the 2, 2 6 are 12. So it is 6 6 are 36. Okay. It is 6 6 are 36. So second area I have calculated. The first area is 108 meter and the second area is 36 meter. But both displacement are in opposite direction. Both displacements are in opposite direction. So you know that displacement is a vector quantity, and if the two displacement are in opposite direction, so they will be subtracted. So if you subtract 108 minus 36, it will be 72 meter. And it is kinematics chapter. It is kinematics concept. If you calculate area of first triangle, it is giving you displacement 108 meter. If you calculate second displacement in opposite direction, it is 36 meter. And their difference is 72 meter. And now they are asking to calculate acceleration from B to A. They are asking to calculate acceleration from B to A. Okay. So what is the acceleration from B to A? So you can calculate acceleration by gradient, or you can calculate by formula. And according to the formula, at B, initial velocity is 0. At position A, final velocity is 6 meter per second. Time interval, time interval is 12 seconds. So you can calculate acceleration by final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. All values are given. So you can calculate acceleration 0.50 meter per second square. Okay, beta. You can calculate acceleration by formula initial velocity 0 at B. हाँ beta. But are you saying something? अच्छा. But I think my microphone is okay. हाँ बेटा अफरा, क्या आपको मेरी आवाज सही आ रही है? अफरा बेटा, सॉरी अंजुम बेटा, मेरी आवाज आपको सही आ रही है अंजुम? अच्छा, ग्लिच हो रही है मेरी आवाज. अच्छा. खैर बेटा, वैसे भी क्लास इज गोइंग टू एंड, so let me complete this question and then you should watch the video if I am glitching. And the concept is very simple because the time is also already ending. So if I change the network, then it will take time. So class is running. Acha beta. Now the last part of the question. Now the last part of the question. If you have calculated acceleration, acceleration is 0.50 meter per second square. And now they are asking the child and sledge has total mass 70 kg. Okay, it has total 70 kg. The component of weight, I will explain you tomorrow what is the meaning of component of weight. I will explain you tomorrow. Component of weight, I will explain you tomorrow. But right now I am solving calculate force of friction. Calculate force of friction. Okay, I am explaining. What is the meaning of force of friction? But you know that the on the sledge, on the sledge, this is position B, this is position A, and child with sledge is moving towards downward. Okay, which force is responsible to slide child downward? So the answer is, so the component of weight, this 80 Newton force, this 80 Newton force, it is the component of weight. I will explain you tomorrow what is the meaning of component of weight. But right now, the component of weight 80 Newton, it is acting downward. And this force is responsible to slide child with sledge downward. And when it begins to slide, then obviously an opposing force of friction will produce. This friction will oppose their motion. Okay, friction will oppose the motion. So if I ask you what is net force, so remember, net force equal to driving force minus force of friction. So what is driving force? I am repeating again and again. The component of weight, the component of weight is driving force, and this driving force is 80 Newton, and it is opposed by force of friction. We have to calculate force of friction. On the left hand side there is net force, and you know net force is MA. MA is the net force. What is M? Sir, M is the mass. Mass is 70 kg. Acceleration. Sir, we have calculated acceleration in the last part of the question. Acceleration is 0.5. 80 minus friction. Okay. And when you solve friction, then the value of friction will be 80 minus 35. 7 fives are 35. So it will be 70, sorry, 35. 80 minus 35, what will be the answer? I think it will be 45. It will be 45. So if my sound is not clear, so I will explain you this question tomorrow, or you can watch this video to solve this question. And tomorrow I will explain you acceleration on acceleration on inclined plane, acceleration on a ramp, it is equals to g sine theta. So I will calculate theta in tomorrow class. I will calculate theta in tomorrow class. If there is no friction, then A is equals to g sine theta. And if there is friction, then I will use another formula, but this formula I will use tomorrow. Okay. Right now I am stopping the recording, and Nandini should watch this video because you are not taking classes regularly. Then you must watch video, but Nandini.